Yeah, 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 yeah. Girl, you wasting my time. Yeah, wasting. Yeah, you wasting my time. Yeah, say you want me to come over and stay the night. Yeah, I can't do that 'cause every time we fuss and fight. Yeah, can I get no sleep? No, I stay up through the night. Yeah, through the night. Yeah.
Yo, what's good? It's Golden Beats, and today I'm gonna be teaching y'all step by step how to make 2000s Pharrell type beats for a little Tecca, and I'm gonna show you the presets that I used and what I did to make this kind of bounce. Okay, so I used one plugin for every melody, and that plugin was Triton. And the first thing I have here is this piano, and it's the hold on, the plugin's loading. It's gonna take a while. It's the acoustic piano in chord Triton. And what you want to do for these type of beats, you want to be set in minor scale, but you want your chords to be thick. So what I did here was I have a C sharp minor chord with a 7th, and then I played it another octave up. This is what I did for the chords in this beat, and they sound like this. Oh, hold on. They sound like this. There we go. That's what that sounds like. And for effects, we have some Fruity Parametric EQ, Fresh Air. Fruity Parametric EQ is cutting out those low ends of the piano. Fresh Air is oh well, that's not Fresh Air. It's just Lux Verb, just some reverb. Lux Verb. I don't know what my phone did, but yeah. And then we have this equalizer in the mixer, cutting out the lows some more. The next sound I added is the default preset in Triton. It's called sorry, it's gonna take a while to load, but it's called the Noisy Stabber. It's like this plucked synth, and it's what I used for the bouncier chords in the song, and they sound like this. And with this sound, I used the C sharp 7. I used the 7 chords very sparingly because down here you have an A major chord. If you don't know what I'm talking about, it's all music theory. You can watch some tutorials on it if you want. If you want to, I think I'll make one. But yeah, what I did here was mainly use on the minor chords 7 chords, and for major chords I use triads. But the only time you ever in this pattern see a major chord with a 7th added is this A sharp major chord up here, and it sounds like this. So, and for effects, it's really just parametric EQ2, cutting out highs and lows. The delay is built into the plugin, but that's the stab effect that I did. Like, that's the stab pattern. The next thing I added was a pad. And the pad, the pad follows the same chord progression that the piano does. It's just not played another octave. And the pad preset that I used in Triton, these all come from Triton, sorry. But the pad preset that I used is the Ultra Res Sweep. Yeah, the Ultra Res Sweep. And the pattern sounds like this. 3 chords. It's C sharp minor 7, A major 7, and F sharp minor 7. 7 chords are what you really want to use for these kind of beats, because minor triads bring off a darker feeling, as if you add a 7th, they instantly become brighter. But that's what I did. And for effects, I think I did too much. I didn't do too much with this one either, just a free parametric EQ and cutting lows. Next thing is this harp sound. It's also from Triton, and it's just called harp. The preset is called harp, and it plays a very simple sort of counter melody type pattern, and this is what it sounds like. That's really sitting in the background. What I have on it is just Wider and Valhalla Vintage Verb. Wider is a free plugin, by the way. It's a free stereo plugin, and you just crank it knob up and it widens your sound, but it's barely noticeable in the beat. I have it sitting in the background, put on some reverb on it to like further push it back. But that's basically the harp counter melody. My voice is kind of a lot, don't mind me, I'm sick. The next sound I added is the first lead. And with leads, you want to have something very catchy, very attention grabbing, not too loud. But the lead that I use for this swag beat is called the Opto lead. It's one of my favorite leads in all of Triton. I recommend you use it if you have Triton. But yeah, the Opto lead, it's definitely, when I put in the pattern, I was like, yeah, this is the lead, but this is what the lead sounds like. There's a lot of like grace notes, you could call them, but you want something that catches people's ear. You want something that can be like, that like when they hear it, it snaps, it's catchy, you want people to hum it. And for this lead, I didn't even put any effects on it, I just cut out the lows. There's nothing at all on this lead. The last sound I added was one more lead, and it's a sine lead from Triton. This is the last melodic sound I added, just because I feel like it needed a little help. And it's called the smooth sine lead from Triton. And it really just plays this sort of up and down pattern. This is the pattern that it plays. I'll just click ahead. So right before, you're going to know when it hits, because right before it hits, there's a G sharp, and then it just goes C sharp to B, back and forth for the rest of the pattern. For effects, I don't think I did too much. I didn't put effects on either of the leads. It didn't need them. But now let's get on to the bass and the drums. Okay, so I have this drum kit. It's called the Eve Robbie R&B drum kit, and it's what I use for my swag beats because they have those authentic sounds. And there's this Prophet bass shot in there, and that's what I used for this beat, and this is the pattern that it plays. Yeah, that's the pattern that it plays. And right here I have it walking up to the G sharp, and then I have it an octave up here, which goes back down to here, and it gets busier, and then I do it again with the B. And it just, I don't really think it follows It follows more of the stab pattern than it does the piano pattern. But this is one of my favorite patterns in the whole beat. There's really no effects on it. I don't really ever normally put effects on my basses or 808s. And speaking of 808s, I decided to layer the notes with an 808. It's a sub from the same kit. And this is what the sub sounds like. What I really wanted to do was emphasize some of the notes that I thought mattered in the bass. All the notes matter, but for the hook, I decided to layer it with a sub 808. And with the sub 808, I'm not doing anything. I don't ever really do anything. Next thing I got is the kick pattern. Now with the kick pattern, you want to be simple, and towards the end, you want to get a little busy. Kind of like drill, but not really. I'll just play the kick pattern so y'all can hear it. As you can hear, it's really simple throughout the first half, and the second half, especially the last bar, gets really busy. Also, one thing I forgot to mention is in swag beats, you want slower tempos, 100, low hundreds, high 90s. That's really what you want to go for. But yeah, this is the kick pattern. Next thing I added was a snare. It's more of an acoustic sounding snare, and that's really what I wanted to go for with this beat. And it just plays a simple clap snare pattern like you would find in any other beat. Now that's why I like it. It's simple. It doesn't need to do too much, but you know, it gets the job done. So the next thing I added was this hi-hat. And with hi-hats, you wanna have your snare pattern, and you want it to bounce off the snare pattern like it's like an accent, right? So that's what I did, and this is what the hi-hat pattern sounds like. Let me turn on the metronome. I like that hi-hat pattern. It gives it that little groove. But there's one more sound that's actually even better, that'll give you an even better groove. And that's a shaker. And I, for this beat, really use the shaker sparingly. I'm gonna turn the metronome on so y'all can hear like how it hits on like the bounce. One of the better things in my opinion. It's subtle, but the bounce is there, as it should be. But that's really what I did. Next thing I added was like this chimes percussion instrument. It just plays every 4 bars, but it sounds like this. For that time period, that sound was very popular. So I was like, if I want something authentic, might as well use that sound. But that's the chime perk. Next thing we have is this 90s triangle, which just hits like ding, ding, ding. I'll show you. And what I did was I have it panned. One goes to the right ear, one goes to the left, one goes to the right. That's all I did for a little variation. And the next thing I did was add this rim. I was really, for this beat, focusing on bounce. So I have a lot of extra percussion instruments that I probably don't need to have, but I have anyway. This is what the rim sounds like. Once I play all the drums together, y'all be able to hear it. I thought it was a genius idea. But anyways, let's get on. I have this open hat, and that's the last. No, it's not the last thing. Never mind. But I have this open hat, and I don't really think open hats are common in these types of beats, but I use them, and I normally have my open hat sitting in the background. And the open hat pattern sounds like this. Simple pattern. Doesn't need to do too much. It really doesn't do too much because I have a lot of other percussion sounds, so I just wanted to keep pattern simple. Then we have this box I got from this NBA Youngboy kit that I thought fit well, which sounds like this. It just hits there. And the last thing I have is the Avox. Gotta have that in there. This is the first ever swag beat I made, so like I was like, yeah, gotta do this. And it just hits there. And I'm gonna play all the drums for you together. All the drums and 808s, and bass and whatnot. Switch it over to sound mode for you guys, so you can hear what the bounce sounds like. Let's see here. This is what it sounds like all together. Oh Lord, let me turn off the metronome. So that's what the drums sound like, and next thing we're gonna get into is sound effects. So let me scroll down here, see what I have. Okay, so let me do this. One of the first things I have is this like riser thing, which sounds like that, and it just goes into every drop. Another effect I have is this DJ scratch, and I have it playing for a whole bar here, which sounds like this. And as far as arrangement goes, if you want that Pharrell feeling, you do a 4 count at the beginning, which sounds like this. And that's what it sounds like. And that's basically just the tutorial. So I'm gonna play the beat for you guys to show you what it sounds like all together. Thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe.